And those are my 10 biggest problems with the Transformer franchise, and really, it's sad that so many of them have not been noticed. Because this is what makes it ridiculous that whenever people talk about the Transformers in general, they mainly think about the cliched problems and leave it at that, when the rabbit hole goes so much deeper than that. These films shouldn't even count as the Transformers when they have given so many things that are not what people actually like and grew up about the franchise. Maybe part of why they did so well is because it's a matter of just being so glad to see them in the silver screen or something like that, and yeah, I can see that. Even if they're hardly done right, there are some aspects to these films that make it really nice that you get to see these guys in their own movies. But when I look at the Transformers, I see something that has potential to be more than what Bay gave us. Not exactly something of the quality of Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or something like that, but still something that goes farther into what has been done before with the concept, creativity, lore, stories, and of course, the characters. Is it impossible to see anything like that today? Not necessarily. The quality may be out of commission in the silver screen so long as there are people like Michael Bay who use it so poorly, but there are some still great stuff to see everywhere else. Things like one of the latest video games, Fall of Cybertron, that has given some great designs closer to Generation 1 with loyalty to the characters and giving some of their own abilities to make each of them stand out, on top of giving us some Transformers of different kinds. There's also a TV show that just ended called Transformers Prime, which has turned out to be one of the best things that's ever happened to the franchise with its remarkable loyalty to the lore and a lot of the characters. The biggest example would be Shockwave, who finally talks about whether or not something is logical, which is something even the original show didn't do.
Your reasoning is hardly logical, but indulge yourself.
Fills me with so much glee every time. And speaking of the original show, that's another thing to look at. Yeah, I know it has repetitive stories and doesn't have the most advanced animation, but it still is great to watch just to look back at where it all began for a lot of people with its characters in action. And how about the comics? The old ones from Marvel still are fun to read, and some of the more recent ones have some great stories such as Drift, or some of the latest Robots in Disguise comics where we get origins for Shockwave and Soundwave. And who knows what they have in store with their current storyline, Dark Cybertron. Bottom line guys, there are so many better things to look at than Bay's films when it comes to the Transformers. The films may have some enjoyable things, but they in no way should be trusted as really representing the franchise. They have basically focused too much on their own mindless stuff to give the work it really deserves. But maybe one day they will reboot it and make the Transformers into films that it can truly be to the best of its ability. Preferably before Peter Cullen and Frank Welker either retire or die. Such a thing is currently unlikely, but it's something that I really hope will happen someday. Because the Transformers may be something most people will remember as just giant robots punching each other, but as long as people don't see how it's also a franchise that already has great characters, great story, great lore, and can push itself to be even more than what it already is, then as stupid and corny it is to say, there truly is more to the Transformers than meets the eye. Yeah, it had to be done, whatever. So, thank you so much for listening. I really worked hard to do this, and I've been wanting to say this for the longest time, so I really appreciate the time you took to hear what I had to say. And if you want to see more of my videos, feel free to look into my channel. But if you want to see more, feel free to log into my blog at hacksreviews.blogspot.com, where I have hundreds of reviews that you can read and enjoy. Until then everyone, I am Hack, and if you want to know what that stands for, feel free to ask me.